Hello, my dear students. Welcome you all to Sri Jayendra Rank Zone classes. I am your mentor and your friend for the subject biology, and I will be taking the zoology part, that is animal science. My dear students, today we are going to start with the helminthic disorders. We were on to discussing different types of infectious diseases, and under the section of infectious diseases now we are on the last part, that is the diseases which are caused by flatworms and roundworms. So helminthic diseases, they are basically caused by flatworms and roundworms. Okay, so in this category we have to discuss about ascariasis. Ascariasis, okay, it is a roundworm infection. The pathogen, the causative agent is Ascaris lumbricoides. The mode of transfer is contaminated food and water. The contaminated food and water basically is having embryonated eggs. The ingestion of eggs via contaminated food and soil. Presence of worms or eggs in stool, very much asymptomatic in the initial phase. So it is very much asymptomatic in the initial phase. The worms, it can cause obstruction of the intestine. It can cause obstruction of the intestinal wall. The worm derive its nutrients from the host and leading to non-supply of the nutrients to the host, which will responsible for malnutrition or deficiency of different essential nutrients in host like proteins, vitamins, carbohydrates, swelling of liver, hepatomegaly. Sometimes the worms may enter the lungs and come out from the mouth. Okay. So these are the symptoms that initially it is very asymptomatic. Okay. In the later stages, the symptoms appears like the intestinal perforation, abdominal spasm, vomiting, loose motion, restlessness. These are the common symptoms of ascariasis. Okay. It is detected by Cato technique, detection by testing stools. The stool culture is done with the help of Cato technique. It is detected. The treatment is anti-helminthic drugs like albendazole, mebendazole, levimazole, pyrantel, and pemot. Okay, so all these are anti-helminthic drugs. In the later stages, vaccine is trying to be developed, but till now vaccine is not available. If the infection is common in an area, all the school children and other population may be given medicines as the preventive measure. Okay. Next is elephantiasis or filariasis. Okay. Elephantiasis or filariasis is caused by Vaucheria bronchopti or Vaucheria malayi. The mode of transfer is through a vector. It is a vector-borne disease. Culex mosquito. Okay. The Culex mosquito is the vector for causing elephantiasis or filaria or filariasis. Okay. The pathogen is Vaucheria bronchopti, Vaucheria malayi. The Culex mosquito, the female Culex mosquito is the carrier or the vector. It basically affects the lymphatic system and the lymph nodes. The larger lymph nodes, they get swelled up. Okay. The symptoms are extremely enlarged limbs or genitals because of lymphadenopathy. Lymphadenopathy means what? Swelling of lymph nodes. Lymphadenopathy, lymph swelling of inguinal region. So the inguinal lymph nodes, they are swelled up. Because of this, the obstruction of blood takes place, which causes the swelling of leg. Okay, the swelling of leg, scrotum, they are the common symptoms of elephantiasis. Okay, detection is nocturnal collection of blood samples and microscopy. Okay, so nocturnal collection of blood samples and microscopy. Because of the pooling of blood in the legs, pooling of blood in the legs, the blood gets accumulated in the leg during night, because during daytime, because of walking and all, the blood keeps on distributing itself, but during rest, the blood keeps on pooling in the legs and they get swelled up. So the blood collection and microscopy can be done as a probable method to detect the worm caused by albendazole. Treatment is albendazole, anti-helminthic drug, and ivermectin. Ivermectin is a good drug to treat elephantiasis nowadays. There is no vaccine available till now for this disease as well. If the infection is common in an area, all the population may be given the medicines for mass consumption. Okay. Now coming to next, disease caused by different flatworms. Fascicolociesis. So fascicolociesis is caused by Fascicolopsis buschii, the intestinal fluke. The site of infection is small intestine of men. Okay. Mode of infection is metacarcaria larva on water plants. The mode of infection is metacarcaria larva on water plants. It is caused by Fascicolopsis buschii. So Fascicolopsis buschii cause fasciculosis, the intestinal fluke. It resides in the small intestinal region of humans. The mode of infection is the metacarcaria larva on water plants. The secondary host is Segmentina or Planorbis snail. It is also known as snail worm. Primary host are humans. Secondary host is Planorbis or snail, Segmentina. Effect intestinal inflammation, ulceration in intestine, and diarrhea. Okay, intestinal perforation, ulceration in intestine, and diarrhea. Now, the second disease is schistosomiasis, schistioma or schistosomiasis, schistosomiasis or blood fluke. The schistosoма hematobium is blood fluke which causes schistosomiasis. The site of infection is portal and mesenteric veins of man. The site of infection is the portal and the mesenteric veins of man. Mode of infection is Carcaria larva in water penetrate the skin when come in contact. So whenever the skin comes in contact with water, so the contaminated water, it is having the Carcaria larva which enters through the skin wound or bruises. Okay. The secondary host is snail, Bulinus or Melania snail. It affects the urogenital tract and causes schistosomiasis. Okay. So schistosomiasis is caused by a blood fluke or schistosoma hematobium. The site of infection is the portal and the mesenteric veins of humans. The Carcaria larva penetrate the skin when it comes in contact with. The secondary host is Bulinus or Melania snail. So snails is act as a secondary host for fasciculopsis and schistosomiasis. Okay. Then teniasis. Teniasis is caused by Tinea solium, port tapeworm. The site of infection is small intestine of man. By eating ill-cooked measly pork. Okay. So if someone eat uncooked or not properly cooked pork, meat. Secondary host is pig, primary host is human. Effect is teniasis, intestinal disorder. It causes intestinal disorders like intestinal perforations and all. Okay. Teniasis. Teniasis is caused by Tinea saginata, beef tapeworm. Okay. Small intestine, by eating ill-cooked beef. So by ill-cooked beef, it is also teniasis. By eating pork, it is also teniasis. But the fact is, the pork tapeworm, Tinea solium, the beef tapeworm, the Tinea saginata. Okay. Secondary host is cattle. In case of the Tinea saginata or beef tapeworm, the secondary host is cattle. While in case of pork tapeworm, the secondary host is pig. It also causes intestinal disorders, intestinal perforations, deficiency of vitamin B12, malabsorption syndrome, and anemia. Okay. Then comes cysticercosis, which is more dangerous than teniasis. It is caused by cysticercus, which is a larva of tapeworm. Cysticercus, which is the larva of tapeworm. Site of infection is ingestion of eggs or oncospheres. Ingestion of eggs or oncospheres reach the stomach from intestine by antiperistalsis of intestine, where oncospheres larvae develop into cysticerca. Okay, so oncosphere are the larvae which reaches to the stomach from intestine by reverse peristalsis. Okay, oncosphere they develop into cysticerca larva. From stomach, cysticerca reach the eyes and brain. From stomach, it reaches eye and brain. Mode of infection is ingestion of eggs of tapeworm, or they reach lower part of the digestive tract and develop into cysticerca and reach the eyes and brain. Mode of infection is ingestion of eggs of tapeworm, or they reach lower part of the digestive system and develop into cysticerca. Okay. Then secondary host is man. In the eye, cysticercus can cause blindness, okay, and in the brain it causes epilepsy, okay. So in the eye it causes a cyst formation, in the brain also it causes cyst formation leading to epilepsy and blindness. So cysticercosis, it is more dangerous than teniasis, also known as, it is the cysticercus is the larva of tapeworm, okay. Hydatid disease, Echinococcus granulosus, also known as dog tapeworm or hydatid worm. The Echinococcus granulosus, also known as hydatid worm or dog tapeworm, in the intestine of dogs, cats, foxes, and men. Mode of infection is by playing with pet dogs. Secondary host man, sheep, goat, pig, and cat. Effect: the parasite liberates toxins which have harmful effect on the body and brain of the host. The parasite release toxins which affect brain of host of host. Okay. So these are different diseases which are caused by flatworms. And now we are going to start with the diseases caused by roundworms. So these are the diseases which are caused by roundworms. Ankylostomiasis. The pathogen or the causative agent is Ankylostoma duodenale or hookworm. The site of infection is the small intestine. Mode of infection is larva, which bores through the skin of feet. The larva bores through the skin of feet. It enters the body through the skin of feet. Okay. Site of infection is small intestine. Pathogen is Ankylostoma duodenale or hookworm. Effect: it causes itching and inflammation of skin. It causes itching and inflammation of skin. It causes anemia, mental and physical deficiency. It causes anemia along with mental and physical deficiency. Enterobius vermicularis or oxyriasis. The pathogen is Enterobius vermicularis pinworm. The site of infection is cecum and colon. Mode of infection by swallowing eggs or food. The effect is anal itching, appendicitis, and nervous trouble. Trichinoliasis caused by Trichinella spiralis or Trichinella worm. The site of infection is encysted larva in the striated muscles, adults in intestine. By eating half-cooked infected pork, effect muscular pain and pneumonia. Derinculiasis caused by Derinculus guineensis or guinea worm. Site of infection is subcutaneous tissue. Mode of infection is infected cyclops with water. Effect ulcers, diarrhea, asthma, and giddiness. So guinea worm, trichinella worm, pinworm, hookworm. You have to remember the names and the infection. Okay. Then the part infected. That ankylostomiasis, hookworm, small intestine, Enterobius vermicularis, cecum and colon. Trichinoliasis, it causes the encystment of larva in striated muscles, and in adults, it causes in intestine. Derinculiasis, it infects or affects the subcutaneous tissue. Then trichuriasis, trichuris trichura, whipworm. It involves cecum and appendix by taking eggs with food, abdominal pain, anemia, and body stools. Cyclops, taking infected cyclops with water is derinculiasis. Okay, it causes ulcers, diarrhea, asthma, and giddiness. Loiasis or eye worm, loa eye worm. Site of infection is subcutaneous tissue of eyes. Mode of infection by bite of infected deer fly or chrysops. By the bite of infected deer fly or the chrysops. Effect conjunctivitis. So loiasis, eye worm, loa worm is caused by loa worm or eye worm. The site of infection is subcutaneous tissue of eyes. The mode of infection is by bite of infected deer fly or chrysops. Effect is conjunctivitis. Okay. This is the life cycle of Ascaris, in which the male, here you can see the eggs containing larvae are ingested by man. Okay. Infected green vegetables, the larva, it enters through contaminated food or water. Now this larva escape the digestive tract and it reaches to the intestinal region, where it penetrates the mucosa carried by portal circulation to liver and by right heart entering to the lungs. So this larva, it reaches to small intestine, it pores the wall, it creates holes in the wall of intestine, and entering into the bloodstream, it reaches to the right heart. Before that, it reaches to the portal circulation, then right heart, and then lungs. So this is the embryonated egg stage, which is the infective stage in humans. And it forms Ascaris larva, 8 days old, the larva breaking out the pulmonary capillaries into lung alveoli. Okay, so the pulmonary capillaries in lung alveoli, it will be broken down. From there, the larva will migrate within 10 to 15 days. Okay, the male and the female, the male larva and the female. Women sexually mature in 6 to 10 weeks. Okay, the egg escape in the feces again, and it develops to form egg again in the soil within 10 to 40 days. Okay, so this is just a life cycle of Ascaris, and so many questions come from this life cycle that what are the different stages, the juvenile stage, although in the chapter Animal Kingdom, during when we were doing the roundworms, I have explained each bit of it, but even today I will explain the life cycle of Ascaris in brief. Okay, so this is Ascaris lumbricoids. This is the fertile part. Then it is the decorticated embryo, fertile embryo, decorticated embryo. This is the embryonated egg, and this is the unfertilized egg. So this is the fertile part or the fertilized egg. Then it is decorticated egg, then embryonated egg, and then the unfertilized egg. So Ascaris lumbricoids, it produces all these eggs. I mean, these are the different phases of the eggs, I should tell. Okay. So basically, you have to remember that the in humans the infective stage is the embryonated egg, and you have to remember the first juvenile stage is known as what? Rabidiform larva or the first mold. Then this rabidiform larva forms the second juvenile stage, which is embryonated egg. It is the infective juvenile in egg. Okay, so this stage is infective stage in case of humans. Okay, basically the first mold, which is rabidiform larva, which is the first juvenile stage also, then it is converted into the second juvenile stage or embryonated egg. Then the embryonated eggs, they are swallowed or taken up by man with food. And the second juvenile stage, it becomes free in the small intestine, human intestine. You can see it enters the human intestine. The second juvenile stage, it boards the capillary walls of intestine and enters to hepatic portal vein as mentioned over here. And then it enters the liver, then posterior vena cava, heart, and then pulmonary artery. From pulmonary artery, it enters through lung capillaries and lung alveoli. In lungs, it comes up with the third juvenile stage. In lung alveoli. Okay. So this is the second mold. Second. So when the parasite reaches the lungs, it undergoes the second molding, which is known as the third juvenile stage. Okay. And then it forms the fourth juvenile stage in the lung alveoli, which is the third mold. Okay. So in the lung alveoli only, it is converted from second mold to third mold. Okay. Third mold. Third mold also represents the fourth juvenile stage. Okay. And the fourth juvenile stage, it enters the bronchi, bronchioles, trachea, then esophagus, then stomach, then intestine again. Intestine, with the help of this fourth juvenile stage or the fourth mold, then the fourth juvenile stage, it undergoes the fourth molding. Fourth and final molding in intestine. And from here, it forms young worms. Okay, understood? So the first juvenile stage, which is the ravidiform larva, which is the first mold. Then the second juvenile stage, which is the embryonated egg or the infected juvenile inside egg. Then the third juvenile stage in lungs, alveoli, where it undergoes the second mold, and then the third mold in the lungs only. The third mold or the fourth juvenile stage undergoes the final molding, which forms young worms. So this is the life cycle of Ascaris lubricoids. Now coming to next, the symptoms. When we talk about the symptoms, sorry, what are the symptoms? So abdominal pain, cramp, vomiting, maybe the discharge of blood or mucus through stools. All these are the different symptoms. Now coming to next, filariasis. Now we are going to discuss about the filariasis. Filariasis we have already discussed. This is all already discussed. Okay, I'll just write it down. The pathogen is Vaucheria, Vaucheria bronchophthalmi, and Vaucheria, Vaucheria malay. Transmission is female Culex mosquito, bite of female Culex mosquito, female Culex mosquito, right? The worm Bouchereria bronchophthalmi lives in lymphatic system. Then symptoms: lymphadenopathy, swelling of lymph nodes, of inguinal lymph nodes. Understood? Treatment is anti-helminthic drug like albendazole, diethylcarbamazine, diethylcarbamazine. Okay. So, students, we have completed the helminthic disorders. Okay, especially these two helminthic disorders, they have to be, addressed separately. And now we are going to start with the fungal diseases. Fungal diseases. Fungal diseases, they are basically caused by fungi. And the fungi, they have been studied in a separate medical branch in which we only study about the diseases caused by fungi in humans. So medical mycology. Mycology is basically the study of fungi, and medical mycology means the infections caused by fungi in humans is studied under this branch. Okay, so it basically includes ringworm or tinea, ringworm. It is a disease which is caused by many types of fungus. It is associated with a medical term which is known as what, tinea or dermatophytosis. So it is associated with a medical term which is known as tinea or dermatophytosis. When a fungal pathogen gets colonized in the upper layer of the skin, then a ring-like circular red, itchy rash is visible in the skin. Some common names of ringworm causing fungal organisms are trichophyton, microsporum, and epidermophyton. Okay. Skin, feet, nail, scalp of human is affected by this fungus, and cats, dogs, rodent animals are also affected by this pathogen. Usually, these fungi live on the extended period as spores in soils. Human and animals are contaminated in touch with these spores. Okay. The spores they get germinated in area having moisture, good amount of moisture. Okay. The fungal diseases of men are either mycosis, the fungal diseases, they are either mycosis, which are caused by infection, or toxicosis. When they are the toxic substances or metabolites released by fungi. Understood? Types of ringworm infections. So basically, it is already mentioned that ringworm infection is caused by a fungi, and there are three fungi, three genera of fungi: trichophyton, epidermophyton, and microsporum. Okay. So trichophyton, it infects skin, hair, and nails. Trichophyton rubrum is the most common species in infecting men. Okay. So in trichophyton, it causes or it infects skin, hair, and nails. So I'll write it down. I'll write it down here. Okay. Trichophyton. Trichophyton. It basically includes what? Or infect skin, hair, and nails. Okay. Then epidermophyton, it attacks the skin and nails but not hair. Okay. So epidermophyton, it affects skin and hair, skin and nails, sorry, skin and nails, but not hair. And microsporum, it infects hair and skin, but not nails. Microsporum, nails are not infected. Are not infected. Okay, nails are not infected. The types of ringworm, some types of ringworm are explained below on the basis of few infecting areas found in the human body, like Tinea cruris, also known as jock itch. It is the more common in genital area of man rather than women, and it is caused in warm weather conditions. Tinea cruris or jock itch, it is more common in the genital area of man rather than women, and it is caused by warm weather conditions. Tinea pedis or athlete's foot, it is more common in the feet and between toes and occurs due to the keeping the wet feet or sweaty feet. Okay. Tinea corporis, body ringworm, it is more common in the body, skin folds, face, and happens in the warmer climate. Tinea capitis, scalp ringworm, it is found in the area of the head and is considered to be very contagious. So Tinea cruris, jock itch, Tinea pedis, athlete's foot, Tinea corporis, body ringworm, and Tinea capitis, scalp ringworm. Scalp ringworm is very contagious. Body ringworm is found in skin folds, body, face, in warmer climate. Causes and symptoms. Ringworm, it causes As a casual fungi live on the surface, so some of the causes of ringworm are mentioned. Human to human, when a healthy person comes in contact with the infected person. Object to human, when a healthy person touches the object of an infected person like comb, cloths, bedsheet. Animal to human, if a healthy person comes in contact with a ringworm infected pet like cats, dogs, rodents, like guinea pigs. So these are the possible causes or mode of transmission. Ringworm symptoms. If the skin is affected, then it is red, having itchy patches and observed. These patches may develop into blisters. The blisters, they can be formed after getting it secondarily infected. Okay. If the nails are affected, then it becomes thicker, discolored, and cracked. Okay. So if the nails are infected, then it becomes thicker, discolored, and cracked. If the scalp is affected, then the hair of that particular region will fall off and bald patches will be observed. Okay. If the scalp is affected, then the hair of that particular region will be fall off and the bald patches will be observed. Understood? So if the skin is affected, then red, itchy patches are observed. These patches may develop into blisters. If the nails are affected, then it becomes thicker, discolored, and cracked. And if the scalp is affected, then the hair of that particular region will fall off and bald patches will be observed. Okay? So these are the causes and symptoms of most common ringworm infection, which is the fungal infection. Okay? Treatment is the antifungal disease, drugs like greaseprevir. Treatment greaseprevir, which is given orally, and miconazole topically. Topically means it is used as a ointment or a tube, right? They are the antifungal drugs. So, my dear students, we have completed fungal diseases, we have completed the other acquired diseases, infectious diseases we have completed. So, in the next turn, we will be deciding, we will be, starting with the non-infectious or non-communicable diseases. Okay, especially the diseases which are, related to different lifestyle disorders or cancer. Okay, so my dear students, stay tuned to the channel. Watch the videos again and again so that you can come up with better scores in your NEET examination. Till then, bye bye, take care, stay safe.